Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to my review of this knife, the Victorinox Ranger. It is a 5-layer knife, and you're at the We All Juggle Knives channel. Yes, that's me, waving to you. What's up? Welcome to the channel. Alright, let's go over the tool set real quickly. What does this have? It's got a plain-edged knife blade. It has a 3-sided file. We're going to demonstrate some of these coming up. It's got a wood saw, very useful. It's got the very capable Victorinox scissors. I will definitely demonstrate those. Alright, so the 4 longer tools, those are one reason I really like this knife. It's also got some shorter tools, 2 openers, bottle opener, can opener, with screwdriver ends, and it has a small penknife blade as well. It also has a key ring you see there, and a wire stripping notch on the bottle opener. Now on the back it has a corkscrew that can hold a micro screwdriver. It's got a chisel, a multi-purpose hook, a Reamer awl, and another screwdriver. In the handle scales it's got some tweezers which are pretty useful. Also, if you look closely, underneath that corkscrew there's a straight pin. There's a slot for a straight pin. Now on the other side usually has a toothpick, but I've replaced it with a fire steel, which I bought separately. Alright, so those are the handle scale tools. Now as for the blade, a Victorinox blade is typically full flat ground, spear point, stainless steel, very resistant to rust and very easy to resharpen, right? And this also has a secondary blade, shorter spear point, pen knife, full flat ground as well. Alright, let's do some things with some of these tools. First up is the Reamer. I'm going to drill a lanyard hole in this carving blank which I prepared earlier. A Reamer is a tool for drilling or enlarging a hole. I can also make a divot. We're going to make 2 divots and then join them together to make the lanyard hole. I've done a lot of videos that are essentially overviews, like tabletop overviews of different models of Swiss knife. And those are nice because they don't take very long to film, right? However, I want to do more videos like this that actually show and encourage usage to get out there and demonstrate the item. Right now, I've already done a video like this for the Fieldmaster. That's the first one I did because it's a hugely popular knife. It's a great knife. So if you haven't seen that, check out my video on the Fieldmaster. I've also done one for the Farmer X. That is the Farmer with scissors added. Alright, so I'll include links. You can check out those videos. Now in the future, I might do a video like this with your favorite Swiss knife. So you might want to subscribe if you like Swiss knives and you're not already subscribed. And I might say, hey, how do you know what my favorite Swiss knife is? Well, that's because I'm psychic. I read your mind. I'm in your thoughts. You're under surveillance. No, just kidding. Now, people just usually tell me, like in comments and so forth. They say, what their favorite knife is. Alright, so there you see. The Reamer has finally gone all the way through. We're going to widen that out. Alright, next up, some blade usage. Swiss Army knife blades have a lot of uses. You could whittle with it. You could peel an apple with it. If you're a bushcrafter or something, I'm pretty sure you could cut up a squirrel or something with it. What else could you do? Well, if you're one of these fancy, privileged, suburbanite scumbags, you could open a bubble mailer with it. No, I'm just kidding. We've all opened bubble mailers. I'm sure you probably bought a nice, let's say, a classic slip joint from Amazon, and you opened your bubble mailer with your Swiss knife, maybe, or utility knife. But the point is, the possibilities of what you can do with a Swiss knife blade are just limited by your imagination and the laws of physics, and if you learn mind over matter, you can actually change those laws of physics. Now, I haven't quite learned that trick yet. Alright, so as you can see, we're bringing this to a point. The whittling is going well. Yeah, we did get a little snow here in New England, as you can see in the background. Alright, through the magic of editing, so we brought that to a point, and now I'm just going to round off the back. What are you making? You'll see. You gotta watch till the end. But yeah, we got some snow, but as I'm narrating this, which is a few days later and in the middle of the night, it's actually raining, and it's a fairly warm rain, so a lot of that snow has melted. Alright, so, well, I hope you're doing well at whatever weather, wherever you are, keeping warm if it is cold. Alright, so we rounded off the back of that. You know, that should seat quite well in the palm. Next up, we got the saw. Yes, the wood saw, very aggressive, very efficient. I'm going to make some stop cuts. I'm not trying to go all the way through, but if you did have to cut through a sapling, for example, it's very good at that. This saw is useful for stop cuts, for grooves, for notches, for bushcraft, for example, like constructing a trap. You got to fit two pieces of wood together. Alright, so as you watch that, let's talk a little bit more about what I like about the Ranger. I like it because it's easier to carry than my Swiss Champ, but yet it has a lot more tools than some of the really slim Swiss knives. I basically like it because it's a good compromise. It's like in between. Alright, next up we got some usage of the shorter blade, the penknife blade. We're going to remove some material, more woodwork. Now I could have used the longer blade, however the shorter blade gives more control and more leverage for this task. Another reason I like the Ranger is because it shares a lot of the same tools as the Fieldmaster and the Huntsman. Alright, so I kind of think of it as like a super version of those for only slightly more thickness and only slightly more weight that I don't really mind. Alright, so we removed some material and I removed more and more through the magic of editing. You see what we did, but wait, I thinned it out even more. Right, so after, a half hour or whatnot, I thinned it out to that shape, and I also smoothed it out, but we're going to smooth it out a little more because I want to show some usage of that file. I usually use sandpaper to smooth out carvings, but if you don't have some sandpaper, you can use that file and it works extremely well. So basically you want to smooth it out because if you do wood carving, it's just going to look a little nicer, a little more finished if it's smoothed out rather than faceted, right? So for example, I can really round off the end of that, and this file is really good for this purpose. As you can see from the wood dust there, with just a few strokes it can remove some material and really smooth out a carving. Now, if I wanted to, I could keep working on this with that file, and I could keep making this more and more pointed and more thin until it was so thin and pointed that it could actually easily pierce a soft target, let's say. But I'm not going to make it as piercing as I could because being that I own a whole bunch of knives, I really do not need a wooden shank. But I could, if I wanted to, make something like that. And if I did make it super pointed, it's basically an arrowhead shank, kind of like a harpoon. Alright, the scissors. Now, as you saw, we do have a lanyard hole in our carving, and the scissors, there's a lanyard hole. The scissors on Victorinox Swiss knives are just very good for cutting all types of materials, including cutting us a piece of paracord, which I will cut a length to make a lanyard, but this is just showing how cleanly those scissors do cut. Yeah, you gotta love Victorinox scissors. Also, if you are wondering where to buy paracord in bulk like that, save some money, buy it in bulk, I will include links to that. Just check out the text description box for more Swiss knife videos and links of useful items. Alright, here's a thickness comparison with other Swiss knives. From the left, we have the Victorinox Farmer X, we have the Fieldmaster, we have the Deluxe Tinker, the Ranger, and the Craftsman, all right, which is similar to the Handyman. Yeah, that's a nice group photo. Gotta love Swiss knives. Definitely going to try to cover more Swiss knives because even though most of you probably own a whole bunch already, I've noticed the whole topic just makes people happy. People just enjoy seeing them, especially if they actually own that model. Alright, now at the end of the video I'll show you more of that carving, but first, final thoughts on the Ranger. Well, why do I like the Ranger so much? It's because with Swiss knives, you have to draw the line somewhere as far as the thickness of the knife and how heavy it is, and everyone has a different answer to that question. Where do you draw the line? Now, if you don't draw a line anywhere, you end up just with the biggest and thickest knife, which is the Swiss Champ, and in fact, they even have some that are even thicker than that. But most people draw the line somewhere before that point. So where I draw the line is at the pliers. If I really feel that I'm going to need pliers, I usually carry my Leatherman rebar or another Leatherman. So if I'm carrying a Swiss knife, it's because I probably don't need the pliers, and so that's why I choose the model that has all the major useful popular tools right up to and except for the pliers. So I definitely think the Ranger is a good knife to consider, and also it makes a great gift, especially for younger people, simply because even if they don't need all those tools, they become familiar with it. Has almost all the major tools that Victorinox has, so it's a great gift, at least I think so. All right, so check out the links and consider picking one up if you don't own one. All right, so this carving, I hit it with some spray primer. That spray primer is for models, but it works on wood, it works on metal, and I also put some varnish on it to keep moisture from getting in and rotting away. And then I painted it red and then varnished it. I put some paint over the primer. I wanted it to kind of match the red on my Swiss knife. And also, because the lanyard and the paracord is black, it's good to have contrasting colors. Now, one thing I think would be cool, this is just wood, it's really just a mock-up, but I think it would be cool if some company would make something like this arrowhead-shaped shank, but maybe in anodized aluminum, and also make it maybe a little thinner and more pointed. I think that would sell really well, as like a self-defense type thing. That's going to be the new growth area this year, let me tell you. But yeah, if any company or knife maker makes something like this, hey, if you send me a few, I'd be glad to maybe stab it into a coconut or something, or some sort of demo. So if anybody makes something like this, yeah, if you send me a few, I'll be glad to point people towards your website, your Amazon store. I've seen kind of similar items, but not exactly identical to this one. Not yet. I know Strider actually sells some very cool shanks. You can check those out. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out the text description box for links to useful items you may need. Those links do help the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.